So the next point of this topic, that is organic synthesis, is green chemistry and the 12 principles of green chemistry. So what is mean by green chemistry? So now see here the definition of this green chemistry. According to this Paul Anastas, the green chemistry is defined as the utilization of a set of principles that reduces or eliminate the use or generation of hazardous substances in the design, manufacture and application of chemical products. Now see the definition here. So while designing, manufacture and application of organic compounds, we must use a set of principles. By use of that set of principles, we may reduce or we may eliminate use or generation of hazardous substances during the reaction. So this is nothing but the green chemistry. So by use of the different sets of principles, we eliminate the hazardous substances which are wasting in the environment or which may create air, soil or water pollution. So why the green chemistry we require or need and importance of that green chemistry? So the chemistry has changed the lifestyle of mankind due to technological development in all areas such as drugs, food production, dyes, plastic, textile, etc. So in all the fields we are using chemistry. Without chemistry we cannot survive on this planet. However, the ill effect of the development has become more pronounced with the passage of time. So we are developing, we are changing over the lifestyle by use of different food products, designing plastics, dyes, textiles we are using regularly, but because of that there is a release of vast, that is a large amount of hazardous material in the form of chemical, solid, liquid chemical, or in the form of solid substances. We are directly releasing these hazardous substances without any degradation into the environment. So that because of this hazardous waste and which compounds are not biodegradable, and this leads to the air, water and soil pollution. So due to increasing this air, soil and water pollution, there is a depletion in the ozone layer, and which results in the destruction of the life of all human beings, life of all the organisms. So because of the industrial revolution, there is maximum release of different organic compounds in the atmosphere directly. So there is an oxide of nitrogen is there, oxide of sulfur is there. So because of this oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, we know that in different areas of the country or in different areas of the world there is an acid rain. So because of this acid rain, there is overall change in the biodiversity and change in the behavior of the human also. So because of the burning mines are there, and we know that the gas explosion in Bhopal, that is in Bhopal, the poisonous gas which is released is an methyl isocyanate, and that gas is get escaped in the atmosphere and which cause different loss of human lives. So there is a question of survival of the all organisms on the earth. So therefore we need to change, to make a revolution in the industry of in the field of chemistry. Therefore we need to change the steps or designing of the compound which gives us a more environmental friendly compounds. So by use of that environmental friendly compounds, we reduce the elimination of hazardous substances. We may not release the hazardous substances in the environment, and because of that the air, soil and water will be the fresh, and there is no any kind of environmental pollution. So therefore we need a change, we need a different field. So that field is nothing but the green chemistry. So by use of this green chemistry we can achieve our dreams in the future. So now see, so what are the points by which of we by use of that points or by use of that principles we can change the entire human lifestyle or the entire human or entire pollution. So now see the first principle. So there are 12 principles of green chemistry. So by use of these principles, if you come to follow these all principles, then there is no any pollution in the environment. Now see the first principle. It is better to prevent waste than to treat or clean up the waste after it is formed. So the prevention is better than cure. So this formula has to be used for during the synthesis or designing the organic compound, because during the normal organic synthesis there is a byproduct is generated, and that byproduct may lead to the waste in the environment. So it is better to prevent that waste than to treat or clean up the waste after it is formed. So so by use of this principle we can minimize the pollution. So second principle is synthetic methods should be designed to maximize the incorporation of all materials used in the process into the final product. Means what? The reaction must be 100% efficient, or the yield of the reaction must be 100%. So such designing of reactions is finalized or is discovered so that we minimize the waste or we minimize the pollution. So third one, wherever practicable, synthetic methodologies should be designed to use and generate substances that possess little or no toxicity to human health and environment. So we must use and we must synthesize the compounds that compounds are that is less toxic to the human beings or the health of other organisms, so that we can easily minimize the loss of human life or loss of living biodiversity. So the fourth principle is chemical products should be designed to preserve efficacy of the function while reducing toxicity. So due to the advancement in the field of toxicity, it has become possible to design safer chemicals which give the desired level of performance at the same time within the permissible level of toxicity. So we must focus on the designing of the organic compounds, synthesis of organic compounds, such that we reduce or we prevent, that is the formation and creation of the toxic material or toxic chemicals during the reaction process. So the fifth one, use of auxiliary substances, for example that is solvents, should be made unnecessary whenever possible. So we know that many organic reactions require solvent compulsory. So by use of the solvents we carry different organic reactions. So we are going to design, or we should design such organic synthesis in which there is no use of solvent, or there is use of less amount of solvent while carrying the different organic reactions. The sixth principle is energy requirements should be recognized for their environmental and economical impact and should be minimized. So now see here, if suppose we are using energy for the synthesis of organic compound in the form of heat, light, so that most of energy is taken from different coals, petroleum etc., so which are not only non-renewable sources but also have major environmental effect because of release of greenhouse gases like CO2, and they involve a large expenditure. So because of that we must come to use different energy sources in the form. Now see the example of microwaves, sonication, that is ultrasounds, which are more advantaged, and these are pollution free for the conversion of reactant into the product in the synthesis of organic compounds. The seventh is raw material or feedstock should be renewable rather than depleting whenever possible. So instead of using depleting raw materials, it is advisable to use raw materials which are renewable, such as biomass is there, methane, CO2, so which can be used further continuously. So the eighth principle is unnecessary derivatization should be avoided whenever possible. So derivatization means conversion of product into different product only, that is with small change in the small change in the substituent and the reactant or reactant. So such compounds are known as derivatives. So unnecessary formation of derivatives should be prevented while designing the organic compound. So next, that is ninth principle of this green chemistry, is catalytic reagents are superior to stoichiometric reagents. A catalytic facilitates a reaction without being consumed as a part of the reaction, without being incorporated in the final product. Also, catalyst lowers the energy requirement of reaction. Catalytic processes are superior to stoichiometric processes by the fact that a stoichiometric reagent will be greater catalytic processes are superior to stoichiometric processes by the fact that a stoichiometric reagents will generate 1 mole of product for every mole of reagent used, while catalytic reactions carries out thousands of transformation before being exhausted by use of only a single or a small amount of catalytic reagents. So because of that, we must use catalyst for carry out different organic reactions. So the 10th one is chemical products should be designed so that at the end of their function, chemical products should be designed so that at the end of their function they do not persist in the environment and release toxic degradation products into soil or atmosphere. So we know that in the city we are using different chemicals in the drainages. So these chemicals persist for a longer duration, and because of that the resistivity of that chemical is get decreased, and there is no use of that chemical into the agrochemicals or into the drainages. Such compounds should be prevented or should be designed such that they do not persist in the environment for longer duration. So 11th is analytical methodologies needed to be developed to allow for real time in process monitoring and control prior to the formation of hazardous substances. So it is necessary to use accurate and reliable analytical techniques to monitor chemical processes and chemical processes and generation of hazardous byproducts so that accidents can be prevented in chemical plants. So before forming the hazardous byproducts, we must come to monitor and control the formation of byproducts. So the 12th principle is substance used in a chemical processes should be chosen so as to minimize the potential for chemical accidents. So whatever the substance which are using in the process of designing a chemical compound, we must use a compound that they do not make accident in the chemical plants, or to minimize the potential of that chemical accident, we must use accurate and we must use efficient chemical process. So use of volatile and inflammable solvents is a potential accident hazard as it can cause explosion and fire. The accidents cause a loss of life and property. It is better not to use Volatile solvents, and even if used, should not be recycled as it can lead to disaster. It would be best to perform a reaction in solid state or in aqueous medium. So these are the 12 principles. By use of that we can minimize or prevent the environmental pollution. So the first, better to prevent the waste before forming. The synthetic method should be designed so that the efficiency of that reaction should be 100%. Whenever we are going to design a compound, so in that designing there should be no release of toxicity in the environment. So the chemical products should be designed to preserve efficacy of the function of that compound. The use of solvents should be made unnecessary whenever possible. So energy requirement should be recognized for their environmental and economical impact. A raw material should be renewable rather than duplicating whenever possible. Unnecessary derivatization should be avoided whenever possible. And catalytic reagents are superior to stoichiometric reagents. Chemical products should be designed so that at the end of their function they do not persist in the environment. Analytical methodologies need to be developed to allow for real-time in-process monitoring control prior to the formation of hazardous substances. The last one is substances used in processes should be chosen so as to minimize the potential for chemical accidents. So these are the principles of this green chemistry, and therefore we need to develop and we need to use the maximum we need to use synthesis of organic compounds, green chemistry as a benefit of green chemistry as a good way. Thank you.